abstract. Yeah, it's complicated. What you say, the way you act. Well, it makes me so confused. I don't know what to do anymore. Can't you just make up your mind? My heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends.
Test.
There's a vibe when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting. Still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. How it hurts to see you smile, like a dagger in me. She just seems so juvenile. I just want it to be me. I wanna set your world on fire. Oh, just so sure I'll stick around. Oh, my heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there's a vibe when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting. Still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. Oh, even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting. Still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts.
Hey everybody! We are almost finished with day one, but we've got so much more goodness coming at you that I'm so excited. So I've got lots of updates and giveaways to get to before Altenew comes on at 7:15. I see that Jen is backstage and she's anxious to get started, but we've got to get through all of our little announcements first. First of all, I want to make sure that everybody knows that you can still purchase the VIP All Access Pass. I've got the link down below that's going to give you the best price going on right now, which during our summit is $99. If you don't purchase that All Access Pass before the summit ends, then that price actually jacks up to $159. So if you're thinking about getting the VIP All Access Pass, please make sure that you do that before the summit ends on Sunday. All right. Now, earlier today, I had some folks ask about purchasing the replay from last year. So I do have a replay from July 21. It just contains the speaker presentations. It does not include any of the bonuses. And right now you can get that for $29. It's a pretty good deal. There's over 25 different presentations in there. I know some of the folks that were in Daniel's class earlier today and Justine's were asking about that. So I went ahead and made a little link there. So if you're interested in picking up just the replay, you can do that there. And then I want to talk a little bit to my VIP All Access Pass members. I've got emails all day today, and I want to make sure that everybody knows that if you're a VIP member, you can watch the videos before they go live. But you don't want to do that through the schedule page or the page in the VIP All Access Pass that lists out the schedule and the links to the presentations. The reason why is because those links go to our Card Maker Success Summit website where the presentations will be released at certain times of the day throughout the next three days. Oh my gosh, we're almost done with the first day. And when you go to those pages before the scheduled time, you're going to see a screen that says that stay tuned. So just to make sure that everybody knows how to navigate their VIP All Access Pass, I'm going to put that link right there. And this is going to show you how to navigate inside the VIP All Access Pass. That is on our Kajabi course platform. You may have heard me say Kajabi. Kajabi is not something that you have to pay for. You pay for the VIP All Access Pass once. I'm the one that's responsible for paying Kajabi every month just to make sure that we've got a place to hold all of that content. But namely, I just want to make sure that you understand if you want to watch the videos before they go live or after the summit, you need to scroll down to the section where it says Crafty Demonstrators, and each speaker will have their own page. If you scroll down below that, you're going to see the section where all the lives are going to be. And you can actually watch the lives within the VIP All Access Pass, or you can see them on the main stage or the YouTube or my Facebook business page. We've tried to put them out in as many places as possible to make sure that you have the ability to go see it. Now, I did a live presentation, I did a pre-recorded presentation earlier today at 10 o'clock. It was on how to turn your craft hobby into a side hustle. And there were a couple links in that page that I'm not sure actually worked. So let me see here. I thought I saved it. Here's one. Okay. So let me just get rid of that other banner, not to be confusing. Okay, so I talked about a course that I'm going to be teaching in March. So if you're interested in learning how to create a WordPress website with the potentiality of making your craft hobby into a side hustle, you definitely want to check that out. That is stampmesomelove.com/WP Crafters Made Easy. And don't forget those little hyphens in between each one of those words. So I don't think the link was working quite this morning. I have updated that page so you can go there and sign up for that. All right, so I've talked about that. All right, so we're going to do some giveaways. I just want to remind everybody that if you did win a giveaway, we're going to be notifying you over the next couple of days. It won't be immediate. uh, we're on limited staff here, so it's going to take me a couple days to make sure everybody gets notified. If you think you've won, please don't email me until after the summit and you never received an email. So we will be reaching out to everybody. Make sure you check your spam folder. It's going to be coming from support at Stamp Me Some Love. All right, giveaways. All right, so I know a lot of you guys have been upset that we are not able to give away to international folks. I do want to let you know that if you have a friend or somebody in the States that is willing to register for you, it has to come from within the United States because the system recognizes the IP address and recognizes that you are not in the States. So if you got a friend in the States who can register for you and who can receive the package, they can ship it they can ship it to you, then you can do that. But I just can't do it internationally. The system will not allow me to do that. So that's a little hack. If you've got somebody in the States that's willing to do that for you, then let's do that. All right, so let's do some giveaways. I want to see all the comments come in that you guys are ready for giveaways because we have got a lot to do. All right, so let me just move my stuff. And let me just check my time. I want to make sure we are good. We've got about 5 minutes. And if we don't get to all of them, I will be doing the rest of tonight's giveaways after Pipsticks is live tonight. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here. We are going to be looking at Stampendous' bundle number 2, Stampendous. And they have given us this beautiful clean mount rubber stamp. And we've got the clear sentiments here. This is their true friends. Lots of cute sayings there. And then this rubber clean mount stamp. This is a pretty large stamp. So yeah, that was great. Maybe great for an oversized slimline. All right, so let's go ahead and give that away. I'll just leave that on the screen there. Well, where'd my screen go? Hold on. I want to, oh, here we go. Draw for winner. Here we go. All right. So our winner for the bundled number 2, Stampendous, goes to Heather. Last name starts with a Y and ends with a G. All right, we've got another one here from Stampendous. And this is quick card labels. So you can quickly cut those out and make into backgrounds and then add your sentiment. And they have also given us this beautiful slimline die set. Lots of nice, pretty little borders there. So let's go ahead and give this winner away. All right, this one is going to Sandra. Last name starts with L and ends with an N. All right. Let's see here. Let's look at the time. Looks like we got a few more minutes. Our next giveaway that we are going to do is Colorado Craft. And it looks like we have 3 of these bundles to give away. We're going to do it in rapid succession. All right, so we've got the Orange Grid, we've got the charcuterie board, we've got the new baby with those little bunnies, we've got Dad's cooking, and then we've got Wedding Day. All right, so let's go ahead and give this one away. All right, so this one, the first one is going to Karen, K-A-E-R-N. Last name starts with an M as in Mary and ends with an N as in Nancy. All right, let's do the second one. All right, this one is going to Linda, And Linda's last name starts with a G and ends with an N as in Nancy. All right, let's do our third one for Colorado Craft Company. All right, this one is going to go to Leah. Last name starts with an M and ends with a Y. All right, let's see how much time we've got. Oh, we got about 2 minutes. 2 minutes, that's time enough for me to give away some paper. All right, so we're going to do 2 bundles, 2 paper pack bundles. This is the My Colors Heavyweight cardstock. This is the cardstock that I sell in my store at shop.stampmesomelove.com. Let's go ahead and give 2 of these away really quick. All right, this is going to go to Lauren, and it just has H as the last name. All right, one more. Incidentally, I do have paper swatches that I give away when you purchase any paper from my store, so that way you know all the different colors that we carry. All right, so this second one is going to go to Chris, and Chris's last name starts with a J and ends with an N. All right, so that is just in time for us to bring on Jen. Jen, I see you backstage. Give me a big thumbs up if you're ready. All right, so excited. All right, so let me just not forget real quick. I'm going to change the banner because we've got something extra special to share with everybody. All right, let me add you to the stream, Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Brandi. How are you?
Oh, we are doing fabulous. So glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you too. It's fun to be here. I was excited about those giveaways and I'm not even a part of it. I was like, this is fun.
It is a ton of fun. And I want to share with everybody that we've got a special promo code discount for Altenew, and it's scrolling by. It's 30% off all of your washi tapes purchases. If you'll go to that link where it says stampmesomelove.com/Altenew and then use the promo code Altenew30, you get 30% off. And then I also want to share this right here. You guys have a free washi tape class. So I'm going to put that up there for a second so everybody has a chance to go check that out. Now that promo code that we have 30% off is good until midnight on the 19th. And I think that, yes, it's Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to go check that out. You don't have to go do it right now because we want to pay attention to what Jen's going to be doing. But just know it. And I will share that link again towards the end of our presentation. Okay.
And I also want to give a shout out to one of our teammates, JC Gaspar, who taught that class. And it is amazing. He's
awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. We need to get him on as a speaker here at the summit. Maybe you can help me out with that.
He's amazing. Everything he does is incredible. I'm always in awe with what he creates.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put you as solo and you're going to have the stage. And then I think we have a giveaway for Altenew. So we will do that towards the end of your presentation.
Yes. Well, thank you, Brandi.
You're welcome. All right. You've got the stage.
So today I'm going to be doing a little demonstration that I'm really excited about. It's using some of our blending brushes, and this is actually something that we are giving away tonight. So I'll be giving you a closer look up at these brushes and how you can use them, in addition to some other really fun products that I think they're just exciting. I don't know. We have so many releases at Altenew, and our company has been around since 2014. So we are approaching our 8th anniversary. And that's just mind blowing to me because I am one of the co-founders of Altenew. And this company started with just me and Tasneem Ahmed, who is the other co-founder, and she's the president of Altenew. And I cannot even imagine how much it has grown and where it could be going after this. So I really want to thank you to anyone who currently is a customer or who knows our products or who has been looking at our products. And if you're new to Altenew, we basically started off as a stamp company and then added dies and added stencils and added embossing folders and art supplies and things that you would use in your craft room, even for home decor, and obviously washi tape. So I want to kind of dive into some of that other stuff in addition to stamps and dies. So give me a moment. I'll just pop you down so we can get started. Okay, so you should be seeing in a moment. There we go. Let me just center this up for you. So this is our mini blending brush set. And this actually wasn't the first blending brush set that we came out with. The first blending brushes we came out with were this large size. And this is really great for blending backgrounds. I have a bunch of them and I like to use different ones for different colors. And you don't experience any hand fatigue when you use these because of the way that the handle is on the top. So as you're blending, you can seamlessly add ink to your projects. And then we released the small blending tools. Oops, don't want to be upside down here. And these are a smaller diameter and they're good for a little more detail, but you can still cover a lot of ground with them. And last but not least, we have these two options for when you're doing small details in your stenciling or anything else that you might be adding color to. I like to use these detailed brushes to just add a little bit of color onto a stamped image, especially if I don't want to take all of the time to paint or use alcohol markers or other coloring mediums. You can usually get ink onto the surface a lot faster if you're blending it. So the detailed brushes and then the mini brushes that we're going to be focusing on today. So let me open this up so you can see what you get in the package. And these have bright white bristles. We did have to customize and test all of these blending brushes so that they'd be densely packed. So they're denser than a lot of other brushes that are out there. And the tips are pure white. And this is really going to help you when you're blending different colors and you can see really easily on the surface what color you've been using. So you can kind of continue with that color. You definitely don't need a brush for every single separate color in your collection because I know as crafters, a lot of us tend to be hoarders and you may have an ink collection of over 100 inks and you would not need over 100 blending brushes. If that's your style, by all means, go for it. But I tend to stick to one brush per color family. So in Altenew, we have our inks in color families of 4. So that you have a light, 2 mediums, and a darker tone of a similar color. And I would just use one blending brush for the whole set. Now, the other product I was excited to show you is one of our newer monthly releases, and it is the Project Kit. Now, we came up with the idea for the Project Kit because stenciling has really, I feel like, blown up recently, maybe in the past year or so. I feel like when I started crafting 10, 15 years ago, stenciling had its moment and then it disappeared for a while and now it's back. So this project kit, every month we release a new stamp set with a coordinating die set, as well as what we call our simple coloring stencil sets. And these coordinate with the images that you have here. Oh, I'm realizing I did not grab my embossing folder. There's also a coordinating embossing folder with 3D texture. I'm not going to grab it now because I don't want you guys to be looking at a blank screen for a minute, but just imagine there is also a folder here. So the die set coordinates with the stamp set, as does the simple coloring stencil. And this is what we're going to be using today because those mini blending brushes are a smaller diameter. They're really going to allow you to be precise with your ink application on each one of these stenciling layers. Now, just to dive in for a minute into our packaging, if you're new to Altenew, we do release trifold inserts with our stamp sets. And this is so you can get as much information as you need so that you can get started with crafting right away. Even if you're a beginner and you don't really know what to do, open up this insert and you're going to get all this beautiful project inspiration. So as this is a 6x8 stamp set, we do have 4 different card samples here, and our 4x6 stamp sets will have 2 samples, and then our smaller sets each have 1 sample on them. And we didn't just show you the image, but we actually go through each of the supplies that you would need to recreate that stamp set. So if you're new or you just have some kind of crafting block or your mojo isn't there, you can just look at these and either copy exactly, or what's even better is using them as a jumping off point. Take the layout of the design, change the colors, add other elements, add other stamps that you have in your collection, either from Altenew or other companies. Do what you would like, and you can just make these most amazing projects. Now, probably most important in our packaging are the layering guides. And this layering guide coordinates with the stencil set. So this is not a layering stamp set. If you remember what it looks like, we have outline images and a collection of sentiments. Let me just put this here so you could see it a little bit better. If this was a layering stamp set, the layering guide would definitely show all the different stamp layers, but this one coordinates with the stencil. So that's what you see in the layering guide. And it really just makes it so easy for a project to come together really quickly and with minimal effort. We have different options on how you can do the layout of your design and different color suggestions once again, so that you can really just dive in and start crafting. Other information is on the back as well. So let's take a look at the stencils quickly, and then I promise we will do some crafting. Now, I'm sorry if it's a little hard for the camera to pick up, but there are etchings in each of these stencils. You could probably see the Altenew logo right there, and it has the number 1. So this number 1 on the stencil is stencil 1, and it coordinates with stencil 1 in the layering guide. But what's even more beneficial than that, I think, are these additional etching lines right over here. So let's imagine you're not using the stamp set and you want to create just an ink blended version of this flower arrangement. You can start off by inking the base layer of the flowers in any color that you like. Then all you need to do is line up these etchings with your first layer that you inked, and then you can ink your leaves around it. If you want to add more layers to your flower, you can do so easily. Again, these little etchings just line up with the outer edge of the design. So you can really just go right into it and add as many colors as you want, layer things up, use your blending brushes or any other favorite tools that you have. You can use any embossing paste or ink sprays, and really the sky is the limit with this. So what we're going to do is 2 different samples. I have 1 piece of cardstock here, and this is just plain white cardstock that I've stamped with the design from the stamp set. And for this, I used our Pigment ink. So this is the Obsidian Pigment ink. If you do use a pigment ink for this type of project, make sure you give it a couple of minutes to dry, because pigment ink does take a little bit longer than a dye ink to dry. A dye ink is pretty much going to be dry right after you stamp it, but you don't want your pigment ink outlines to be wet before you start doing your ink blending, because you're going to get smudges and it's a big mess. We definitely don't want that. Now over here, I'll be doing some similar ink blending, but I don't have the outline, and you're going to get 2 totally different results with this. And I love having those options, that versatility to craft however you want, whatever you're in the mood for, whatever you think the recipient would like, if you're making a card or if you're doing a scrapbooking layout or other project, whatever your heart is in the mood for that day. So let's start off with the one on the left. So I'll set this aside. I'll grab some of my blending tools. Now, if you're more comfortable tacking down your stencil, you can either use a removable stencil spray, like a repositionable stencil spray, and that'll make it tacky on the entire stencil. I also often grab the Altenew Satin masking tape. And this is a really low-tech repositionable tape that allows you to just adhere it down to your surface, and then you can remove it without damaging your paper. This is also great for adhering dyes to your cardstock before you run them through a die cut machine. But I usually just go in without adhering it down. I know it's very risky, isn't it? Because you don't want your stencils to move around. But I do find that I like having just the freedom to lift stencils, place them down without having to take all the time of adhering them to my surface. But it really is completely up to you. Now I'm going to take my first stencil, and it really doesn't matter which one you start off with for this design because you're not layering on top of one another. What you're doing is almost like filling in the puzzle pieces. You can see that when I lay the stencil on top, it's revealing different areas that I can go in and blend with my mini blending brush. If you're using a larger tool, I definitely would cover up these areas here. So you can use the tape to cover it up or a scrap piece of cardstock. You may also want to cover up these other holes so that you don't accidentally blend over them and then get ink where you don't want it. But I'm living dangerously today. We're just going in with the blending tools because I do have the precision and the control of the smaller brush. All right, so let's do this layer in the baby pink ink. So this is the lightest of the three. And all I'm going to do is take my brush, swirl it a bit onto the ink. Now, these are brand new brushes, so I do want to get some good ink coverage on there. And you can see this is a light color, so it won't show up as pigmented as the others. The lightest color in all of our color families is as light as it is for a reason, because you want to have depth in your project. You want to have highlights, you want to have shadows. And those highlights are going to contrast with the darker areas and allow you to really have nice variation in your design. Now you could be as heavy-handed or as light-handed as you want. Obviously, if you go in more or a little heavier, you will get a darker color. But I like having variation within each of these sections. Again, it just makes it look a little more realistic if you have some color variety. So already I've added 3 flowers layer, or the petals for this stencil here. And I'm just going to go in and finish off this last one, and then we'll hop into the next layer. Okay, so as I remove this, you're going to see I have easily colored in those areas. Now let's hop over to the fuchsia ink. That's the next color in this color family. And I am going to go into another of my stencils. So this one is the number 3 layering stencil. All right, the one I used before was number 2. And then I have number 1 here. So once again, I'm just going to line this up. And I hope you can see how quickly you can do your inking. And grabbing that fuchsia ink, just like before. I'm using the same tool, you guys. I know I have 4 here. I can use more. But I really do try to make it as easy as possible and as little tools necessary. So if you're just starting to build up your collection of ink blending tools, don't feel like you need to buy 20 sets. You can start small and then add to your collection. Make sure you like using them, and then buy more as you see necessary. I just love how quickly this comes together. I am not the best at coloring with alcohol markers. I have to be honest. I've had a lot of practice, and it's just something that doesn't always work for me. Sometimes I can do it, and it's like, whoa, I'm so impressed. How did I even create that? That's beautiful. And other times I'll look at something that I've done with markers and I just wonder, like, why can't I be as cool and as talented as everyone I see online? You know, it's one of those things you will improve if you keep practicing. But to me, I just love how this is foolproof. Okay. It's so easy just to add those different layers in. Now we're coming up to the final layer for the flowers. And we're going deep with the magenta. Same blending brush. Since they're all part of the same color family, I don't have to clean my brush or anything. Now, if I was going to go back into the lightest ink after doing this dark, dark color, I would take some time to rub it off onto maybe a spare piece of paper or a baby wipe or onto my chamois cleaning cloth that I use for my stamps. Just something to get that darkest color off so you don't contaminate the lightest color. I do know people who use a separate blending brush just for the lightest shade so that they don't get any cross-contamination. And after we do these beautiful flowers, we'll just go in and add some color to our leaves. But just take a look at this, how pretty it is with all the variation of each color. It really gives a nice, realistic result.
That's amazing, Jen.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it. It's so much fun. It's so relaxing too.
We've got a couple of questions if you don't mind answering.
Oh, no problem at all. Yes.
All right, let's see here. Someone is asking, are the brushes, are they brush or foam sponge?
They're brush. Let's see if I can, it's a little tough here. There are different bristles here. It's so packed that I know it looks like foam. And when we did a lot of our testing with different manufacturers and looking for what we wanted in a brush, we didn't find any brushes from any manufacturer that were as dense as we wanted. So we actually customized all of our blending brushes so that they would be this dense. And that's going to give it a lot of firmness, but also flexibility. You can also see how short these bristles are. And that was also something that we did by design to make sure that you get really even coverage, but it's not just like a brush flopping around. If you had really long bristles, you wouldn't be able to control where that ink is going.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you can see I could just dig my finger right in. There you go. It's probably a better way to show it. It's all bristles.
Tracy's asking if the first stencil in the sets, is that always for the lightest color?
If you're doing layering, the answer would be yes. Remember, this is more of a puzzle. If I take this off, I could show you a little bit better. I did the lightest color here, 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 and so on. The medium tones here, 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 and the darkest in these areas. So they're not even layering on top of each other.
So they're not overlapping.
They're not overlapping. If you wanted to, you can pick blue for one stencil and green for another one and pink for another one. You'd end up with a pretty crazy flower, but I think it maybe look pretty cool. But you're not going to have any issues with different colors mixing and turning brown because they're not on top of one another. They're just next to each other like a puzzle. But with our stamps and with our layering stencils, the way we design them is the lightest would be the first layer, the lightest ink color. Okay, that was a great question. So let's move in with this leaf layer, and I'm going to use a few different colors. So I'm skipping Minty Mint. This is the lightest of the greens in this color family. And I'm going to start with Sweet Leaf. And then I think I'm going to add a little bit of just green to add a little variety to the leaves. I'm grabbing a new blending brush. And just going around adding this ink just as we did before with the other layers. And when we're doing this on the outline, you're going to get like not really a cartoony result, but you know, you have the thick black outline there. What I think is really impressive is when you do this without the outline. I was crafting at my parents' house over Christmas. And also, I should tell you, this was the first time I saw my family since before the pandemic because they live in Florida and I live in Massachusetts. And it had been so long since I was able to see them. And my grandmother is 93 years old and we didn't want her to get sick. So I made sure to, you know, stay away. And then it was just too hard to not see my family. So I went down for Christmas to Florida and I brought some crafting supplies. And I was showing my grandma all these things because she knows that I, you know, design and work for Altenew, but I don't think she really ever understood exactly what that meant. So I was showing her all these supplies and all this fun stuff like the stencils and the blending tools and our inks and so on. And I was using this stencil set without the outline. And I was just messing around with it because we had recently gotten all the samples from the manufacturer and I was excited to play with it. She was mesmerized by it. And, you know, when you're 93 years old, like you've seen a lot. It's probably difficult to really shock you when you've had such a long life of seeing so many things, you know, like she saw technology boom right out of nowhere. And this was so impressive to her watching the stenciling. It was really kind of cool. It was very sweet to see her reaction to it.
Nice. I know my grandmother is the one that got me into crafting. We used to paint ceramics in her basement, so
Oh,
that's
really? That's
it's
so
cool
nice.
that your grandma's still around.
She is. I feel so lucky. And that she also crafted with us. She got some colored pencils and was drawing and coloring. And my cousin, who's 15, she was there too. So it was a lot of fun. It was a
Nice.
multi-generational crafting session.
That's awesome.
All right, so let's do very quickly, because I'm seeing we're almost out of time. I'm going to go through and do the same steps, and this time without the outline layer. So let me start over here with, actually here, the one I used the lightest ink before. And this time, instead of using so many colors, I'm going to do a slightly different technique. I'm going to go with the Fuchsia ink. And instead of swirling all the colors evenly, I'm going to start on one side and swipe my ink across like this. Okay, so as I'm swiping the ink, I'm getting darker colors on this side where I'm starting my swipe, and it's lighter on the left-hand side. Do the same thing over here, just taking the ink and swiping it. And I'm not worried about a perfect blend with this technique. The other one, I really wanted to make sure I was swirling my brush. Here, I might get a few little streaks, and that is a-okay. Because you're going to see when I go in a different direction on the next stencil, it's going to change the look up. So let's flip around. And let's see if we can lock this into position. Of course, when I'm live, I'm trying to find where it fits. It's always more difficult when you're live. Okay, there we go. So now I have this next layer in position, and I'm going to do the same thing, but instead of swiping from the right towards the left, I'm going to swipe from the bottom up. And what I want to do is just get those shadows in a different location on this layer. And I want to get the like striations of my brush strokes in a different direction as well. And I am rushing through this a little bit, but again, you can see I'm using the same color, but I'm still getting separation of the petals because of the way I'm inking it.
That reminds me of a watercolor look.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. It is very similar to watercolor.
Awesome. We've got about 5 more minutes left.
Perfect. All right, so I'm just locking in this last layer. And you can see, even without the outline, it is so easy to do this. This time, I'm going to come in from the top left and stripe across this way. And this is something that you can do with different colors. I just wanted to show you that you really don't need a lot of supplies. You know, you have one ink color in your collection, you could do a lot with it. And because of time, I am going a little faster through this than I normally would, but I'm sure you get the idea.
It still looks amazing.
Thank you. And let's lift it up.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that amazing? So you're still getting all, like, look at this shadow here. I barely did any work here, but you get all the shadow and definition of each petal because I was inking from different directions. So it was putting the shadow naturally heavier where I was starting, and it was lighter where I was feathering off. So now I have
is beautiful.
just from using one ink and one blender. And then to finish this guy off, we'll pop the leaves into place. So remember, I have those outlines on this stencil, those etching lines. So that lets me line up the leaves exactly where I want them. Now, since I'm using this without the outline stamp set, I'm not going to have the little tiny branches that will connect these leaves. So that's something you can just add in with a colored pencil or with a marker. And you can see here now we have two totally different effects just using those same supplies.
That is just beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So like I said, this is part of the giveaway, is the blending brush set. I do have the other products. Do you want to show them, Brandi, or would you like me to show what they are?
You can show them.
Sure. Okay. So we have our Essential 12 Pan Watercolor Set. And this is a little messy, but that's proof that it is well loved. So don't judge me for my watercolor mess. But we have our watercolor set, and that pairs beautifully with the Exotic Blooms watercolor coloring book. And this has lots of different flower designs, and each design is printed twice, once with black outlines and then once with gray outlines. So if you paint on gray, you'll get more of a no line watercolor look. And then if you do it with the outlines, you'll get more of like a bold contrasted effect. And last but not least, we have this amazing palette knife set. So this is a mixed media palette knife, and you get 4 different sizes of knives. And these go with the Altenew embossing paste. So you can add a lot of texture through your stencils. I feel like this is a stencil heavy giveaway, right? Because you can use the blending brushes and all these supplies with your stencils.
Awesome. That's great. So just to clarify, this giveaway that you're doing today includes all of those products. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool beans. All right. So Lisa, make sure you note that. I think my notes say different. So just make sure that we've got that updated so that when we notify the winner, we can tell them exactly what they're getting. Oops. Hold on. I need to put myself back in. There we are. All right. So let's go ahead and put that washi tape class back on the screen. All right. So let's go ahead and do that winner. So excited. Okay, the winner of that fabulous, fabulous bundle from Altenew is going to Peggy, and her last name starts with a W and ends with an R. So Peggy, we'll be emailing you over the next couple of days to confirm that you're a human and not a bot, and then also get your mailing address so we can inform Altenew so they can ship it out to you directly. Thank you so much, Jen, for coming on board. And we have enjoyed it immensely. I've been looking at the comments as it's come through. People are really, really enjoying that last technique that you shared. I mean, that was like mind blown. And
that's what my grandma said.
No, didn't she really?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was exactly. No, she didn't do that. She's like, whoa, like I don't think it was mind blown. I don't think that language is in her vocabulary. But she did that.
But it's the same concept.
Yes.
I'm sure she's got something, some sort of word back then in the day that would mean the same. But yeah, mind blown. Absolutely. Oh, I can't wait to try that. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We are so happy that Altenew is one of our top sponsors. You guys go check out the sponsor page and love on all of our sponsors. Go and shop, and they support us a lot every time we have one of these summits. And so just want to share the love back to them. Thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate you coming on board.
Bye.
All right. I'm going to take you out of the stream. There we go. All right, you guys. Let me see what time it is. We've got about 10 minutes before we're going to get on live with Mo from Pipsticks. So we've got time to do a couple of giveaways before we do that. All right, let me see here. Oops, wrong paper, Brandi. Oh, goodness, what I do with my spreadsheet. Here it is. I got to keep myself straight. Okay. We are going to do an Ellen Hudson giveaway. Let's do that next. All right, so we have these stitching dies. Now, Ellen Hudson's going to be here tomorrow, and she's going to be doing some demonstrations with her paper piercing plate. And but tonight we're going to give away the essential arches, and there's essential arches, and then when there's stitch arches. Now, I've started a project. I have not finished it, but I do want to share and show with you. I actually took the dies and kind of stacked them in there, and then I'm starting to stitch rainbow colors with all of my DMC rainbow thread. And once I finish it, I'm going to embellish it with some, I was thinking about doing like a cloud die cut and a sentiment and stuff. So anyway, so that's my little stitched project there that I have not finished. But we're going to give these guys away. All right, so let's do it. Okay, draw winner. Okay, the stitch dies from Ellen Hudson is going to Susan, and Susan's last name starts with a P and ends with an R. You are going to love these, I promise you. All right, let me put those to the side. Let me check my time. All right, it's time for us to switch over. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put the schedule link up right now, because we're going to have to go into a different stream. We've got streams, separate studios for each of the sponsors. And let me put up that schedule link right there. So I'm going to end this stream. You're going to need to go to the schedule page, find the Pipsticks live stream, and click on that link, whether you're going to be going to the main stage, or you're going to go to YouTube, or you're going to watch it on Facebook. So this is just a reminder to Lisa in the background to go ahead and update the main stage webpage with the embed code for our Pipsticks live stream. All right, you guys, I'll see you over there in a couple of minutes.